I was 37, single, unemployed, and depressed because in a couple of months I was going to be moving out of my studio apartment on East 23rd Street in Manhattan and in with my mother in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. Since taking a buyout at my Wall Street firm, I had devoted myself to two activities: searching for a new job and working out. And I spent a lot of time in my apartment. So did the three recent college graduates next door. At their weekend parties, a loud bass penetrated our shared wall starting at 10:30 p.m. In sweats, no makeup, and with my hair piled in a bun, I would go out and ring their bell around 11 p.m., early, even by my geriatric standards, to ask them to quiet down. One of them would appear, flush with alcohol and annoyance, and promise to turn it down. Usually they did. When they didn't, I would call the doorman, the management company, and once, the police. But the noise continued. My 23rd Street building was near 3 colleges. When I signed the lease, I didn't realize the place had so many student renters, people who understandably liked to party. Yet it was the least social time in my life. Most of my friends were married. I had no income, and rent was almost $3,000 a month. I wasn't dating because I hadn't figured out how to positively spin my unemployment story. One afternoon in the elevator, I saw one of the guys from next door in jeans and a t-shirt, his dark hair slightly receding. "Are you always around in the middle of the day?" he asked. "For the last few months I have been," I said. "I'm job searching." "I am too," he said. "It's my last year of law school." "Never leave a job without another," I told him. People had warned me about this, but it was only after I'd done it that I realized how true it was. As we neared our doors, I said, "I'm moving out, so you guys can blast your music all night long. The mean old lady is leaving." "Why?" he asked. "I can't afford this any longer. I'm moving in with my mom in Brooklyn." "That sucks," he said, then added, "It's not me blasting music. It's my roommates." Which made sense. He was always the kindest and most apologetic when I got angry. "How old are you guys?" I said. "Like 23? "Yeah, well, I'm 23, he said. "I'm 37. So I hope you get a younger neighbor the next go-round." "I never would have guessed 37, he said. "I thought you were like 26. Was he sweet-talking me? I looked the same age as my friends, but maybe the dorm-like context had fooled him. That afternoon we ran into each other again. He was in a suit headed to an interview. I wished him luck. 2 weeks later, my friend Diana and I were sitting at a nearby bar, drinking vodka sodas and looking at her Tinder app, when my 23-year-old neighbor popped up. "Swipe right," I said. "Tell him you're out with me." She swiped. They matched, and she told him I was with her. I followed up with a text, proud to be out on a Saturday night. Here was proof that I, too, was fun. We messaged back and forth. He was on his way home. When I asked if he wanted to join us back at my apartment, he said yes. 20 minutes later, Diana and I arrived, and he showed up with a bottle of vodka and cans of Diet Coke. Soon he was laughing, saying, "My roommates can't stand you, and I was always so confused why a 26-year-old was upset about our parties. I thought you were just an old soul." Diana and I danced to Jump by the Pointer Sisters, a song he didn't recognize. Before Diana left at 4 a.m., she whispered to me, "He likes you. Hook up." I offered a hushed protest, insisting he was too young. But apparently the neighborly tension had been building because he and I started kissing right after she left. When we woke up, hungover, a few hours later, I begged him not to tell his roommates. My transformation from puritanical noise warden to Mrs. Robinson embarrassed me. My dulled brain screamed, "What just happened?" But I won't lie. It was also an ego boost. I may not have had a job, a husband, or a boyfriend, but at least I could attract an adorable 23-year-old. Over the next few weeks, we texted constantly and kept getting together to talk about our dating and employment searches and to fool around. When I asked him if I seemed older, he said, "Not really, mostly because you aren't working, and you're around all of the time." I said, "When I graduated high school, you were 4.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.